Hello, this is RV Vagabond Jerry, and today I'm going to show you the falls at Niagara Falls. Both the Horseshoe Falls on the Canadian side and the American Falls on the American side, but from the Canadian side. And I'm going to take the railway, the incline railway that goes down to the falls from the street level here. And then I'm going to drive around to Clifton Hill, which is just a few blocks away from the falls, which has all kinds of entertainment that you can imagine for the kids and the adults. So let me show you around the Niagara Falls area here. So first I'm going to take this incline railway car down to the falls. You see it goes down this really steep rail. And then you walk over there to get a view of the falls. So here I'm at the city street level, and the falls you can see way over there. And this incline railway takes you down to where you can walk over there to get a close look at the falls. Here it is coming back up, and that's what I'm going to do. You get your tickets here and then wait right here for it to come up. So in the railway car, there's seating here for 10 people. You get a pretty good look at the falls on the way down in the railway car as well, at least the far right side of the falls. It's really quite an amazingly wide river here. And from right here, I can already feel a little bit of spray from the waterfalls. And you start here by going through this building, which has these features. Or you can park there and just walk right over to the falls right there. And you can also take a tour of the nearby power station through the tunnel, which I've decided not to do on this trip. And they have a restaurant inside the building here. And here you can get a view of the falls through these windows. Look how wet it is down there where all those people are. That's going to be havoc on my camera. And they are really, really close to the falls. And through these windows, you get a view of the American Falls and a view of the Niagara River downstream. That's as far as you can see downstream right there. And you see the boat there and there, where you can go on to get a view from the bottom of the falls on the river. Here's another view of the Canadian side. And across from the restaurant is this bistro wine bar, which has outdoor seating right there, where you can sit and drink and watch the waterfall. And down the escalator takes you to several stores, like this gift shop here, and more eating places in here. Then finally, you find the doors to get outside. So here you get a close-up of the amazingly wide Niagara River just before it goes down the falls right there. And yes, that is the Horseshoe Falls, they call it. And look just how quick flowing the river is. That is a pretty fast flow, I think. Now this is a little more of a front shot. And look how misty it all is. You really can't see anything right there. Then the mist dissipates down at the river. And on the American Falls, you can see also how misty it is right directly below the falls. There's the boat, which is just stopped right there. And look how close they are from the falls. They get very, very close, and I bet they are just really getting soaked from the water. The other boat is way out here. And here is the Canadian side of the riverbanks, right in front of the American Falls. That boat is going back now, and look how packed it is with people up there. Everybody wearing blue raincoats. And I think that means the blue is for Canada and the red is for America. Or is it the other way around? I'm not sure. Well, now I am sure, because on the shore here is another boat which is full of red raincoats. And on the New York side is another boat full of blue raincoats getting ready to take off. And from here I can actually see the American Falls a lot clearer, because on the Canadian Horseshoe Falls here, it is just so misty and foggy that you can only see a bit on the right there. So that kind of takes a bit of the thrill out of it, I think. And I wonder how good of a view of the falls they're going to get with all this mist and fog in the way. That might not do much good, I'm thinking. Now on the Canadian side, there is a lot of buildings to see. That's a Sheraton. And then there is a tower up there. There is the casino, and there is Embassy Suites, and that just simply says Tower Hotel on it. So there's a lot more hotels on the Canadian side, and there's really not any hotels on the American side, because the American side is a state park. On the American side, there's only 2 buildings that stand up above the trees, and then whatever that is over there. Other than that, seems like there's no hotels on the American side, at least not any really big ones like there is over here in Canada. Now 2 years ago I drove through New York right along here, and I did a video only of the New York side of Niagara Falls. You drive across that bridge there to get across the river to get to where you can get a close-up view of the falls. So on my last trip here, I only did the American side, and then on this trip I'm only doing the Canadian side. You can see the far left end of the Horseshoe Falls fairly well here, because as you look to the right, it's just all fog. Another interesting thing is the canyon side here between the Canadian and American Falls. And the canyon side here on the Canadian side of the river is interesting as well. You can also see the far right side of the Horseshoe Falls fairly well there. Now the problem with parking down here is that not only is it full, you have to drive around a while to get a spot, but then you walk up here, and with a credit card only, you buy your parking ticket, which it says $35 here, flat rate for all day. But then I see somebody left a ticket here which says they paid $36. And after you get your ticket, they give you a receipt and the ticket, and you have to take the ticket back out to your car to put on your upper dash, because the security is going to drive around and check to make sure everybody pays. So that doesn't seem very attractive to me. And the incline railway, I think, is mostly for people that are staying in the hotels here. But since I'm on my motor scooter, I can cleverly find places to park without having to pay. Look how big that Marriott hotel is. That is huge. And this Embassy Suites is pretty huge in itself. Well, now that I'm back up to the top of the railway, I've noticed that I can actually see the right side of the Horseshoe Falls better from up here. How about that, folks? Nice. Well, I'm taking off from here now. Now, something else you can do is go up that elevator to the top of the Skylon Tower, which is just a little ways north of the falls. And to take the elevator up is $15, and then it's another $15 to park here. And what that would do is give you a really high up overview of the falls, Niagara Falls. But then parking there would also give you walking access over to this entertainment area here, where there's a Ferris wheel, and I'm going to drive over there and see what else there is. Well, it is a big entertainment center with those go-karts, with a long go-kart track here, various food booths, entertainment attraction booths, and that is right next to the Ferris wheel. And right across the street is the Ripley's selfie studio. Not sure what that is. Frankenstein's castle. And all kinds of entertainments, businesses here, and more things across the other street here. I've seen a few of these around the States. All kinds of things here. There's a mirror maze. There's a Ripley's Believe It or Not museum. Here's a dinosaur-based mini golf next to the Ferris wheel. And across the street is the go-kart track with their own little waterfall there. Just all kinds of attempts at entertainment here. And here's a Movieland Wax Museum. Distillery and barbecue. That's what you need. Nice combination. And that whole area is known as Clifton Hills. Fun by the falls. Now over here where you get your tickets for the boat, you actually get an excellent view of the American Falls, the Bridal Veil Falls there, and a much better view of the Horseshoe Falls than you can get over there right next to it. So the mist and fog only hides a little bit of the Horseshoe Falls. That's a pretty nice view from this point. And on the American Falls, look at amongst all the rocks here, the way the water hits it. It looks kind of like it's snow. Well, folks, I just wanted to let you know that there are tons of fun to be had within just a few blocks of the falls here in Niagara Falls. Good day, folks.